Okay, so it's the end of June. Technically, it is the last day of June, but I know I'm not going to finish that book, so, because I'm starting it today. It's like 400 pages. So, the first book I read was Our Endless Numbered Days by Claire Fuller. It was contemporary fiction and thriller. I rated it a 3. Everyone was strange. It was very slow-paced, and it had a pretty disturbing ending, but I kind of saw it coming, so. The next book I read was 0 Days by Ruth Ware, which was a library book, and it's back at the library, so. It was a thriller. I rated it 1 star. It had a stupid premise. I skimmed. I just couldn't find another Z at the library. It was so repetitive and slow, and I shouldn't have. And I don't do spy stuff, and I shouldn't have done that anyway, so. Oh well. The next book I read was 28 Summers by Ellen Hildebrand. It was a contemporary fiction, and it was summer themed. I rated it 3.5 stars. It was so melodramatic. The author really likes to romanticize cheating. If you've ever read any of her other books, you know this. And I have one more book of hers on my shelf. After that, never again. Nope. The characters and storyline were good, though. It's just the premise. I hated it. Next up was When the Summer Was Ours. Historical fiction. I rated it 4.5. I really liked how it showed a storyline from a gypsy during the Holocaust, because I feel like some of the other marginalized groups there isn't much out there for, and I really like that a different group was covered that was also affected. Next up is Kisses from Katie. This is a Christian lit memoir. I rated it a 3.5. It was an amazing story, but it was very wordy to me. Next up was Sophomores by Sean Desmond. It was young adult. I rated it a 3. It was good for the first third of it, but then after that it just dragged on, and the storylines became boring as a result, so it ended up not being that great. Next up was The Dinner List by Rebecca Searle. This is a magical realism. It's 4.5 stars. It had amazing characters and storyline, and it had a beautiful ending, but I felt like the relationship was kind of toxic. Okay, I'm going to move on to, since I'm going in order, I'm going to talk about the 2 that I DNF'd. Saving Grace by Denise Hunter. See, I got this at Goodwill. It covered up the whole book 2 thing, which makes me mad, and I really should have known by the title how religious it was probably going to be, which sometimes isn't a problem, but like, it was so preachy from the first page, I was like, yeah, no. So I ended up DNFing it, like, I think I got like 10 pages in to try and give it a chance, but I was like, yeah, no. The next book I DNF'd was The Daughters of Ireland by Santa Montefiore. If I butcher that, I'm sorry. Another book that I had no idea was the second book in something. And it was like I don't know if it was like a monarchy or what, but it was like pretty intricate families, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to know what's going on at all. So I just went ahead and was like, yeah, I was like one page in, I was like, yeah. So then I moved on to The Farewell Tour by Stephanie Clifford. It was a historical fiction, which I rated a 4.5. I love how it didn't sugarcoat the racism, sexism, and physical and sexual abuse that went on in it. Because, I like when serious matters aren't sugarcoated like some things end up doing or glossed over or whatever. And I like it when things are real, like realistic. Excuse me. Next up was Are You Sleeping by Kathleen Barber. It was a thriller, and I rated it 3.5 stars. I felt like there was way too many character tropes with this one. It's like they threw in all the whole, it's a secret, she left her family, and mysterious, and, we gotta repair the family, and, I hate it when they throw so many in there. The storyline was okay, and the family issues were too repetitive, and by that it was like the scenes just went on and on and on about it. And then, like, you would get back to the same topics, and it's like, they were talking a lot without really saying much, and I'm just like, why are you dragging this out, The next book I read was Wild Girl by Patricia Riley Giff, I guess. I don't know if that's right. I'm sorry if it's not. It was a children's book. I rated it 4 stars. It had good conflicts for the main character, and I really loved the ending. The second to last book I read was How Do I Unremember This by Danny Pellegrino. It's a memoir and LGBTQIA+. I rated it 3 stars. It had funny stories and it was heartfelt, but I felt he was very wordy, and he putting a lot of hashtags and stuff in parentheses, and I'm like, okay, I don't know. And then last but not least, I read I Survived the Wellington Avalanche 1910 by Lauren Tarshis. It was a children's and historical fiction. I rated it a 4.5. I love learning about little-known historical events, and the author showing actual pictures after, like, the story was over. She talks about all kinds of facts, and, just, like, this, like, how the story was inspired, characters that were inspired, that kind of thing. I really like when authors go really in-depth about that. I never knew. It's kind of funny, when I looked at it, I guess I didn't read that it said Cascade Mountains on the back, and I kept thinking it was Wellington, New Zealand. It's actually like Wellington, Washington State, and I don't think I've ever heard of this event, so it was really interesting to learn about. And like I said, I like how in-depth it goes and how you learn a lot about the area and the real people. So that is what I ended up reading this month. I ended up finishing the Read Through the Alphabet Challenge. All I had left was 2 letters. For O, I covered it with Our Endless Numbered Days. And for 0 days, that covered the letter Z as in zebra. I ended up reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I ended up reading 12 books and DNFing 2, and so far this year, that's the most I've read this month. So, yeah. Yeah, that's what I read in June.